So this is my intro to Thick Thursdays. I just want to say before I start my whole spiel about Thick Thursdays, I am not glorifying obesity or promoting it in any way. What I'm doing is I'm saying that it's okay to love yourself even if you're big. I in no way am criticizing women who want to lose weight or women who like being big. I think do what is good for you. Love yourself no matter what size you feel. If you're big and you want to lose weight to feel more comfortable in yourself, go ahead. Like, if that's what makes you happy, be happy. But in no way do I think your own personal choices should be pressured onto other people by the sake of saying what you're doing is horrible and you're killing yourself. When people try to argue with me that I'm promoting obesity, I go back at them and I say, hey, are you going on every bar page and saying alcoholism is real? You should stop serving drinks because you're killing people. Do you go on every club page and talk about recreational drugs? Do you go on gym pages and tear apart people who are abusing steroids to fit this idea of beauty that they see in themselves? No. So what I'm saying before I start my whole spiel about Thick Thursdays is what I'm trying to do is create a positive community and a positive message and give some insight to people who might be curious or might be looking for their own reason to find love in themselves. Now that I've said that, onto Thick Thursdays. So one of the video concepts that I have is Thick Thursdays. Thick Thursdays is about everything plus size. This can include topics of fashion, misconceptions, stereotypes, or even just whatever random mishmash I want to talk about. So why I decided I wanted to make Thick Thursdays was because I know that there's a lot of misinformation out there. I think it's a community that's kind of one-sided sometimes because there's a lot of people that don't feel tied into the community unless they are plus size. And so I thought if I made a blog video that would kind of inform other people, they might be more understanding or at least more aware of what it's like to be plus size. I know for some of you girls out there, you're not plus size, but you might have plus size female friends. You can be super supportive of them, but there's a lot of things that also comes along with being plus size that you may or may not know. What's with stereotyping? What's with having a skinny friend who says, oh, you shouldn't be intimidated by me? Or the common saying, you're really pretty for a big girl. Or you have a really pretty face. Kinds of things that sometimes they might just seem like a comment, but they actually have underlying meanings. So again, part of the reason I'm wanting to make this Thick Thursdays is to not only inform people, but also shed a little light on my own personal experience being plus size. I think a lot of times it's expected that if you're plus size, you have to be confident or own it. Or I've even heard guys say, oh, I'd be with a plus size girl if she was confident. As if confidence is put on us from the moment we're big. A lot of bigger women, and even women who I wouldn't even consider very big, have a lot of pressure on them to maintain weight, and weight is often polarized in media. This is something that will be a common theme in these things about polarizing weight gain. These little things that we forget because we don't even realize that we're saying them. We've been taught to see weight as bad and skinny as good. And a lot of our common phrases like, oh, I'm feeling fat, is a way to say I'm feeling ugly. And essentially tying in the idea that if you are fat, you are ugly. These are the topics that I want to cover because I think that any person could be enlightened by this. Although Thick Thursdays might have some serious undertones, there's definitely some stories I have that I also plan to put in. Not all the topics I'm going to be covering are serious or enlightening, but I do have a lot of funny stories that I could probably add that would make this pretty entertaining. For instance, one of the topics I wanted to cover is, again, the idea of fetishizing fat women. I get messages online where guys say, oh, I've never been with a big girl, but I'd be pretty interested to try. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I am not your experiment. I am not your taste of something different, your exotic flavor of the week. And it's funny because guys sometimes see that as a compliment, that they're saying, oh, well, you're attractive enough for me to go outside of my boundaries. And these are like really funny instances I've had with online dating and even in person, like, oh, I'm not attracted to big girls, but I like you, as if that's not backwards compliment enough. So again, that's just an example of one of the many stories that I have a collection of that I do plan to incorporate into Thick Thursdays, and I'm really excited to kind of shed some light on what it's like to be plus size.